That's Bonnie Montgomery from her new album, River. We tracked down Bonnie in Fayetteville, Arkansas, just after Thanksgiving, where she tells us about recording River in a sod farm outside of Houston and the reaction from fans now that River is finally released.
Yeah, I think the reaction's been great. We went down to Texas and did some shows down there, and everybody was super receptive and sold a lot of records. And then we had like a homecoming show in Central Arkansas, where I'm kind of from, and we did a 2-night stand there and just sold it out both nights and had a big time. So
Nice one.
yeah, I think reception's been good. Yeah.
Yay. Okay,
Yeah.
let's get down to the nitty gritty of this River album. So, my understanding, it's not a post-COVID album. You actually recorded it during COVID. I'm just going by what I've been reading. So, correct me if I'm wrong. Someplace in a sod farm outside of Houston.
Yes, that's all correct.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So we got started on it, in the thick of it with the lockdown and everything. So it was just me and my bandmate Kevin,
Right.
who he built this studio, and he's a great engineer too, and he multi-instrumentalist. So we were trying to be safe during the pandemic and not bring a bunch of people in one room. So yeah, we just did it, me and him, because he would play the drums and bass and everything. We just layer it, and
Right.
yeah. So it was, yeah, we did it during that time. Hmm.
And so what is his? You've been working with. You say he's your bandmate, but he's also your producer. So what kind of discussions did the two of you have about the sound that you were trying to achieve on this record?
Well, we, excuse me,
Sure.
we were listening to a lot of really big, like 70s rock ballad kind of bands.
Like REO Speedwagon.
We actually, his dad came over one day and said it sounded like REO
Oh,
Speedwagon.
I'm from the era, so that's what I think of when I think of big rock ballads.
Yeah, but we were really into like Elton John, Honky Chateau, and
Right.
Bob Seger, and Linda Ronstadt's big albums.
Yep.
And so, we were just like, let's just do this all the way. Like, let's get the organ and the steel guitar, like full strings. And and I play piano, but I never played piano on any album I've cut or live. So that was a big change too, is that I got on the piano because he had a grand piano in the studio. And yeah, we just started going for it.
Uh-huh.
Just went for it.
Did you have all the songs sorted before you went in and recorded, or was it an ongoing process?
It was ongoing. We would try things and see how it landed in the studio. We tried a lot of stuff that we were like, let's move on, and then we landed on the ones that we eventually put on the record. So yeah, it was a process.
Is there a lot of leftovers?
Yeah, there's a couple of leftovers actually. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it is
Yeah.
Thanksgiving. We should be talking about leftovers.
Right. Right.
Well, the album opens with the title track with River. So tell me about the river, because there's a river in Arkansas. Is that what this is all about, or you would explain?
Mama says, don't climb that tree, but the river kept calling out to me, and then I climbed so high, just to see my river shine.
My father passed in 2007, and he was just, my best friend, and he's like my guardian angel now. And he was a wild, free-spirited person, and never never played by the rules and always thought outside the box. And
Right.
when he was a little boy, they had a dairy farm near a place called like Scott, Arkansas. y'all might not have heard of it, but
No, but it, you know.
it's near the Arkansas River. So, right there, the Arkansas River is like a mile wide. It's
Right.
really big. And so he wanted to see the river really bad, and he climbed a tree to see it when he was like 6 years old, and he fell out of the tree. His mother had told him not to do that.
Right.
And he broke his arm in a way that disfigured it for life, but it kept him from being drafted to Vietnam. And yeah, and he would always tell me, if I hadn't have fallen out of that tree, if I hadn't have wanted to see that river, you might not even be here, because I might have been killed in the war. And so it was always kind of this story that would be retold over and over. And I think it really kind of captured his spirit, rebellious and adventurous and nature oriented. So that's what the song's about. It's like from the perspective of him as a little boy wanting to see the Arkansas River.
And I see you made a video. What river did you shoot the video on?
We were up in Fayetteville, Arkansas, so it was around a lake called Lake Sequoia and the West Fork of the White River. So not the Arkansas River. It's way too big.
Yeah, I had no idea it was like that big of a river. It's insane.
Yeah.
And it's followed by Modern Day Cowgirl's Dream, which there's also a video for that. You're wearing gold boots instead of the white boots on the previous one. And there's a pretty cool jukebox in there. It looks like it's shot in some kind of little tavern or something. Whereabouts is that?
I went down to Houston. We were putting on a show. After the loadout, standing in the road, like a vision, all dressed in gold. Then I danced with a ranch hand who was holding me so strong, twirled me on the dance floor, took me to another world, That cowboy took me to another world.
Yeah, that's the Whitewater Tavern in Little Rock. And it's pretty much one of my favorite places in the whole world. They have supported my music for over a decade and just let me come in and play. And it's sort of like it's sort of the center of the music community there. It's really small, but really big artists play there. And like I opened for Billy Joe Shaver 3 different times in that place. And I'm also a classical composer. So,
Yes.
But we did my opera in that bar. Like, it's the most wonderful place. And it's got this like wood shell, kind of like an acoustic shell that you play in the corner, that I think acoustically is one of the coolest places I've ever played. So yeah, and the jukebox is killer. It's good.
All righty. So you have a song that's kind of a tribute to Ray Price, if I'm not mistaken, called "I Was Fine." So
yeah.
That's Ray Price is a long way from opera. So how does that all fit together?
I was fine until you came by. I was going about my business with a smile. Now you're gone, and the room just feels so empty to me. But I was fine until you came by.
Well, I love Ray Price. Ray Price's voice. What a crooner, And
It was a big hit. Was for the good times, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I grew up with Ray Price's music kind of being in the background with all the other classic country that like my grandparents loved. And so when we got in the studio, Kevin was, messing around with that riff at the very beginning. And we were like, oh my God, that sounds so much like Gonna Burn Some Bridges, the Ray Price song.
Uh-huh.
And We're like, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's give Ray Price like a wink and a nod and
Gotcha.
salute. And so, yeah, it was inspired by Ray Price.
Sounds like some
Mhm.
pretty snazzy pedal steel playing on that track as well. Yeah.
Big time, very snazzy, as you say. Very snazzy.
Alrighty. Now, I think I read that you did some kind of, when you were in your 20s, you took a freight boat or something to China. Who does that? What's that all about? Is that true?
Yeah, that is true. I'm a little bit crazy. I've always been crazy. I guess that's why they call me, or whatever that Waylon line is about being insane. But I was very adventurous. I had no fear, either that or I was just really
Well, the
brave.
song is
I don't
called
know.
Half Drunk, so that might have had something to do with it.
Half drunk, half stoned, and living alone in a land of 10,000 goodbyes. Half down, half up, please pass me the buck of a victim too scared to sing high.
So, yeah, I mean, you can still do it. You can still take freight boats all over the world. It's crazy. You can stay in the officers' quarters that are empty.
Right?
And that's what I did. I got a job teaching English in China when I finished my undergraduate program. And yeah, I didn't want to leave the surface of the earth, so I took a freight boat. It took 19 days to go from Seattle to Hong Kong.
So what
And
did
I
you think?
survived.
What did you think of China, and what did they think of you when you got there?
Oh man, I had been to China before because my undergraduate school had international programs,
Right?
and I took advantage of that because I love to travel. And so, yeah, I loved China. I loved my students. They loved me. Like, I felt a real connection with my Chinese friends. I feel like they were so, back then at least, it was over 15 years now that I went over there, but there was just a simplicity to life there. They just had a simple way of enjoying the small things, and I loved that. So I taught them music too, though, because I wanted to. They had never heard Beethoven. They had never
No.
heard the Beatles. So I
Right?
was supposed to be teaching English, but I would teach them music too, because yeah, I had to.
Gotcha. And speaking of Beethoven, I believe I'll Know is your kind of love song to Beethoven. Explain it, if you will. It's a very
so
poppy
funny.
song. It's kind of different than the rest of it.
And baby, I'll know, baby, I'll know, and I'll know, and baby, I'll know, and I'll know, and baby, I'll know.
Yeah, it's a very pop song. It just came out of nowhere. It was kind of fell in my lap, and I have during the pandemic, went a little bit eccentric, and I was living on 12 acres by myself and just kind of talking to the animals and writing a lot, and reading a lot, and listening to a lot of music that inspires me. So Beethoven's like my favorite, just like
Right?
everybody. And I love his book. That he has a book of his conversations and letters that is like my favorite book in the whole world. And anyway, I just imagine like, hey, what if I just wrote a love song to Beethoven? And that's what it is. It's like kind of like, I'll know, even though you're not here, even though we're not in the same time realm, we'll still know what's up. So
Still know what's up. That's great. And you also take a bit of a musical detour on Leon as well. There's you made some kind of sitar out of a guitar.
I think I saw Leon. He was walking down the road where the river
Yes, I know. That's Kevin.
Right.
And I realized I had gotten that wrong because now that we're playing it live, he's sitting at the pedal steel, and all of a sudden it's like Ravi Shankar's over there.
Right.
I was like, what? Wait, I thought we turned the guitar into the sitar because we tried to put foil on the pickups and do
Right.
all this stuff. But it turned out on the record he did end up just playing his pedal steel, but he like customized the slide to where he I don't know, he soldered it or something to where when he just changes that slide it sounds like a sitar. But that's definitely our progressive country cosmic
There you go.
country track.
And Leon was your grandfather?
Yeah, my grandfather on my dad's side was Leon Montgomery, and he was a wild, really tall cowboy hat wearing a cattle rancher and cattle
Right.
auctioneer and drinker and singer. So
And drinker. I love it.
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
So now that you got this record out of your system, what are you thinking about next?
Oh man, I'm thinking about all kinds of stuff. I am singing with the symphony here in
Right.
Arkansas in the spring, and I'm really excited about that. I'm friends with the main conductor, and because I have the classical background,
Yep.
I'm gonna convert the song to orchestra. So I've been working on that score, like taking one of the songs and making it for orchestra, full orchestra, which is amazing. And
Right.
yeah, I've just got a lot of other, we're going to be touring the record some more and playing shows, and yeah, just keeping it moving.
All right. Very good. It sounds like you're having fun.
Yeah, we are. I make sure we do because we're in the fun business.
There you
That's
go.
what we're doing. If we're not having fun, then what's the point? So
I agree. All right. Have you ever been down to this part of the world? You've been to China
I
several times, so I
I
thought
have
maybe
not been to New Zealand, but
okay.
I have been to Australia.
Close, but no cigar.
Close. I know, right? No cigar. I do want to go really bad, though. Wow.
All right. Well, there's something to aspire to.
Yes. Oh,
Very
yeah.
good.
I love that.
Okay. Very good. Well, I'll let you go now because you probably got to have a turkey sandwich or something. I know how
Yeah.
the post-Thanksgiving deal works.
Yeah, or go work out. That's
Yeah,
probably what
that
I need to do.
I never did that. My mistake. All
I
righty.
love that. I love that.